Taking a look at national and international news from the Associated Press, I'm Craig Routzahn.
Since 1975, Craig Routzahn has been a familiar voice in the thumb on WLEW and Bad Axe.
Ag is a big important part of the thumb area. Anyone who comes into the thumb, the tourists may think it's the shoreline, but the bread and butter of the county is agriculture. It pays the bills. It made us very, well, not proof, but close to recession proof, because when everything else was tanking, everybody needed food.
It's time to check what's happening on the grain and livestock markets. On the Chicago Board of Trade in the early going this Friday,
we pass along any stories we find of interest. We get a lot of releases and such from organizations. And we also daily give the grain prices for the Cooperative Elevator Company, which is one of the major producers in the area as far as the co-ops for farmers to take their grains and commodities. I do a program on Wednesday mornings, and it's about a 45-minute talk show, and on occasion we have the gentleman Nathan Krill, the executive director of the Huron County Farm Service Agency, come in. He talks about all the things farmers need to know as far as the deadlines to get their ducks in line for federal crop programs. And he tells us that once we do a program, his phones tend to perk up after that, and he gets a good response from people from the area getting into the office to make the reports before the deadlines and before they lose out. The waters of the U.S., that was a big one, and I worked with Farm Bureau a lot on that. We heard from Farm Bureau after this started to come out, and working with Farm Bureau, we let everybody know in our listening area that there were cards available at the Farm Bureau offices that they could send their comments into Washington on the matter. And also on our website, when we did the stories, we put in a link to the email for making comments to the EPA on the issue. We also have up in the thumb area here pros and cons according to who you talk to as far as wind energy and farming. It was brought to the area as a land preservation measure that it would help preserve farmland because people are not going to make big developments around the windmills. And there are pros and cons, people for and against, and that's been a continuing back and forth in the thumb area.
Checking news a bit closer to home, a line of heavy showers and high winds blew through the thumb area, causing problems on several fronts this morning. Huron County Emergency.
We named him Communicator of the Year because of his excellent work on the radio and helping everybody to know, like with the waters of the United States when that whole thing was cut last year. He helped keep everybody apprised of what was happening, what people needed to do, how they needed to do things. He is just very involved in our whole total community up there in the thumb. And what's nice is even the people over in Tawas that get the WLEW, they appreciate him over there too. I've talked to some of the Tawas County members and they really appreciate. So all of us around the thumb and in that area really appreciate everything that Craig does for the farming community.
For his coverage of agriculture and working with Farm Bureau to keep the public informed about agricultural issues, Craig Routzahn of WLEW is the 2015 Michigan Farm Bureau Communicator of the Year for broadcast.